You're watching Access Minnesota. Here's Jim Dubois.
Last year, President Brunix publicly declared that he was upset with the legislature for their deep funding cuts for the U of M. Has your experience with the legislature thus far been more positive?
Well, we need to partner with our legislative friends. We need to tell our story. We need to advocate for the university. Both President Brunix and I feel passionately about the value of public higher education, about the enormous return on investment we as a university provide the state for its investment of state dollars. So it's easy to get that passion up to a pretty high level, but we need to collaborate and cooperate with the legislators and tell our story. So I'm not angry with them in any particular sense of that word, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to have more productive conversations next year than we had this year around our bonding bill, which didn't provide all that we need to keep our infrastructure up and going.
President Brunix often called the decrease in state funding the new normal. Do you have any hope that state funding could be increased for the university in the future? Well,
I think a rational analysis of the value the university brings to the state will show that enhanced investment in the university will benefit the state far out of proportion of the dollar amount that's put in. That's a pretty compelling story, and we're going to tell it. We'll see. So I don't give up hope, as it were, that the state will see appropriate to invest in public higher education, and both at the university and at MnSCU and in the state grant program. I think the value of higher education is so compelling that as the state finances improve, I would believe it's quite possible that some additional resources would come to public higher education.
Earlier this year, you made a major new hire, a new athletics director, Norwood Teague. Tell us about that process, and what do you believe Teague will bring to the position?
Well, I think the process was a very good one. We convened a search advisory committee of about 26 individuals from inside and outside the university who had high interest in Gopher athletics and a commitment to moving our program forward.
A major university athletic director, much like a major university president, has a lot of stresses, and there are a lot of public expectations. Joel Maturi, the predecessor to Norwood Teague, was often criticized for focusing too much of his attention on the non-revenue generating sports. There are 25 sports total in intercollegiate athletics here at Minnesota. Do you foresee that Norwood Teague will focus more on the revenue generating sports, and what will you tell people who might be a little concerned that perhaps some attention will be taken away from those sports that don't generate revenue?
You know, it's a balance. Like many things in life, it's a balance between how much time and attention an AD can focus on the non-revenue sports, the Olympic sports, and how much time he or she can be outside in the community or doing anything else that occupies that very complex job. I do expect that Norwood will move that balance point to be much more outside the university, but that doesn't mean either he or I are stepping away from our commitment to the Olympic sports, the so-called non-revenue sports. We're committed to the number of sports teams that we have. Going forward, Norwood has a lot of tasks in front of him, including a strategic plan for athletic facilities. And over time, I'm sure he will look at the balance of those sports, but there are no immediate plans to change the sports mix that we have.
Recently, the U conducted a study that answered the question, how much does it cost to educate a student? When Access Minnesota returns, U of M President Kaler tells us about the findings of that study.
Access Minnesota will return after these messages.